Yo, recording video while multitasking, multiple apps. Okay, sorry, I've got a warning. Not a great start. Anyway, yo, just jumping on. So I wanted to share a trip down memory lane for people who are new here, people who are just starting out. So I wanted to share my first two no money down deals. Right, and as the title said, before I had money, it was time I invested. Right, I really went heavy on the time. Like I would spend every waking hour listening to podcasts, reading books, going to networking, just gaining information, knowledge, strategy, everything I had, because I didn't have money. As you can imagine, it's hard to buy a house with no money, right? You're going to need money to buy things. So I was like, right, got all this time knowledge, I just don't have money. So I had to try to figure out how to get money. And the first deal came about was a family member who I knew had cash in the bank, and I knew the cash was earning them nothing. So here was the proposal. How about we do a joint venture together? I had a friend, and this is how I chose my area, right? I'm a simple guy, right? I may not have the highest IQ, but I am flipping resourceful. Maybe one of the best people at being resourceful, right? So I had no money. So I went to a property networking event. There was a guy there. He had an SA in an area of North Wales. He showed me what the SA was generating. So I was like, if he's in that area and his SA is generating that, I shall get one myself. So what I done was I approached a family member who had the cash in the bank and said, look, this guy is getting this level of results, which is this much income. What if we done a deal where you put the money in, I'll do all the work, we'll get him to manage it, and we'll split the profit 50-50, we'll split the uplift in equity 50-50, and if we ever sell it, you get all your money back out before I even earn a penny. So there's literally no risk to you. So they agreed, right? So I drove 6.5 hours to do one 5-minute viewing. That's how committed I was. It seemed like crazy at the time, but like 6 hours to do one viewing, listen, whatever it takes. So I drove 3.25 hours to North Wales, done the viewing, 3.25 hours back, put the offer in, got it accepted for 80 grand. So we only needed about 25k to do the deal. And then we bought the deal. It was literally like, I couldn't believe it actually when we did get it accepted and buy it. I just couldn't believe I'd done it. Anyway, so we bought the deal, done a little light refurb to it, spent 5k on the refurb, and we've just recently had it valued at £120,000. So we pulled out all the investors' money plus an extra like 20, 30, £25,000 on top. Plus, as an SA, it was making like £1,000 to £2,000 a month. It was fucking killing it. So that was my first no money down deal. Then this family member told a friend of theirs who recently got some inheritance what I'd done. So they reached out to me and said, hey, look, I've heard what you've done. Would you consider doing something similar with me? So I was like, yeah, of course. That sounds fucking sick. So it's going to be my second deal. So I've reached out to a friend of mine who was a sourcer in Liverpool, and he actually had a deal, but he couldn't raise the money for it. So he offered me this deal. And he said, look, I'll offer you the deal. You just pay a sourcing fee. It needs a full refurb. I'll project manage the refurb for you. And I've got a tenant lined up that wants to guarantee the rent for 5 years. I was like, what the hell's going on? And the beautiful bit about this is that the second investor, because of her age, she was 62 or 63 at the time. She also didn't own her own property. So that way she leveraged me beautifully and I leveraged her well. So that she couldn't get a mortgage on this herself because of her age and her status, her accommodation, whatever. So she leveraged my mortgage ability and my age, and I leveraged her capital to get this deal. We paid 91 grand for it. We spent about 12 grand doing it up, and we just had it valued at £150,000. So it's a sick deal, right? So it's like, before I even had any cash, it was just more about being creative and just finding out people's pain points and then selling them with the certainty of like my knowledge, my experience, my team, all that kind of stuff. Like you guys need to leverage the environment you're in, right? Like when we was practicing what we call an elevator pitch, part of my elevator pitch wasn't selling my results because I didn't have any results yet. Obviously, I'm just starting out. It's my first deal, second deal. I didn't have results to pitch. So I pitched the results of the people that I was in contact with. I pitched that I had a coach. I pitched that I was on like weekly masterminds so I could get any question asked. Like part of my weekly masterminds is that people who are 10 steps ahead of me are asking questions and going through problems that I know how to solve before I've even had them. So I'm so much smarter. Then we've got like monthly mentoring, right? So like I can ask any question in there. People who are way more experienced than me will give me the answers straight away. So like it was selling the certainty that there was no problem that could come up that I wouldn't be able to solve. So like it's not always about the money. It's more about the experience, the time, and what you bring to the table. So that's how, first two deals in property, zero my money in, but just time, effort, energy, building network, building connections, building my knowledge base, building everything else. That's what you need. So it's always good to look back where you start. So now I've gone from, a little 80k house in South Wales to now a big site with a GDV of £4 million in 4 years. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I remember, like, the feeling of that first deal accepted. It felt like I'd achieved the impossible, that I owned 2 houses. I was like, I'm like the first person in my family to own 2 houses ever. Like, it felt insane. It was just like, almost like winning the lottery. Like how I'd imagine that would feel. Like I was just like buzzing off my head that I'd done it. So, yeah, don't worry about the money. Have time, invest time in yourself to figure out how you can make this work. Be resourceful, be good at selling. I'll definitely recommend, learning how to sell, learning how to speak confidently, and just going for it. So, good luck on your journey. And any questions you have, if anyone could, feel free, reach out to me anytime. Whatever you need, let me know.